honestly, one of the comments that I would get more than once would be that I'd rather be dead than live like that. And sometimes be in direct reference to my dad that I would have just described in the context of my nonprofit. So, and that's where, for me, I think this, again, a lot of hindsight here, but I think that the nail that kind of stuck in me was you can't say that, because I saw death and disability next to each other. My brother died and my dad survived. Now, my dad survived sitting down for the rest of his life, but here we are 26 plus years later and I still hang out with my dad. So there's there's loss in devastating injury like that. I'm not saying that there's not grief, there's not tragedy, it's difficult, but there is life, there is hope, there is adaptation, there is resilience, and an opportunity to go forward. And when it came to my brother, there was a finality. Now, there's different impacts and things you can take from loss in that sense. But I think when I was hearing people think that death was better than disability for someone who went through that night at 12, learning what had happened, it's like, no. I don't think you.
No, I don't think
get
so
it.
Either.
You know,
I've heard young people say the same thing. But if you have, I'm sure your dad would look them in the eye and say, "Are you out of your mind? I got to spend 26 years with my daughter." Like, there's so many more things that are important than being able to walk. And if it comes down to life, nobody wants to be paralyzed, but I don't think anybody's choosing death that has a family and loved ones. Maybe people say that when they're 17, 18, they don't realize the depth of life, but it's once you have a life, you realize how precious it is.
And that's why I think there's been a through line for me, that's to say there's a lot that has to get better about how disability is regarded, because a lot of these assumptions that I know people make feed these kinds of beliefs.
Sure.
And then those are the kinds of people who go into either acquire a disability or their loved one gets a disability or they have a child with a disability, and that can really color their experience in a way where they're not coming into it with the mentality of the way that we've framed disability for generations is so negative.